Just to come on KUJH, growing numbers of coronavirus are causing many states to increase social distancing mandates.
One state has authorized to recount ballots from this year's presidential race.
And Lawrence residents went out on Mass Street to celebrate the results of the 2020 presidential election. And welcome to KUJH. I'm Carly Newcomb.
And I'm Danita Victor. The coronavirus pandemic is still thriving in the United States. Yesterday, the U.S. reported nearly 140 new cases. This marks the 8th day in a row that the U.S. has seen more than 100,000 new cases. Hospitalizations are also hitting record numbers, with more than 61,000 Americans currently in the hospital with the virus. Several states are revamping their lockdown restrictions to combat the spread.
Too many businesses are failing to comply with the state regulations and orders. Sadly, as a result, the virus has returned to our state in a big way.
Here in the Midwest, we are being hit just as hard. States like Nebraska and Wisconsin are issuing new mandates involving masks and social distancing.
If we can save a life from COVID or from a heart attack or something else simply by wearing a mask, then why not?
As cases spike across the country, Dr. Anthony Fauci is worried people are giving up.
I hope that the fact that people realize that help is on the way in the form of a vaccine, and soon, that would get them to be even more motivated to do the public health measures, because when you know help is on the way, don't give up.
The hope is that added measures will stop the spread of the pandemic as we wait for a vaccine.
First weather, Jade, it's getting chilly out there. What are we expecting the rest of the week?
Danita, it is going to get a little bit warmer tomorrow, but that's not going to last for long. Thinking back to yesterday when that cold front pushed through and brought us a lot of rain and cooler temperatures, that's since gone as it's warmed up a lot this afternoon, giving us a lot of pleasant temperatures, fall weather that we've been waiting for. And tomorrow's going to look even warmer than today. However, we have a second cold front pushing through, giving us some cooler temperatures on Friday, and also a chance for rain on Friday evening as well, going into the weekend. Right now, we are still pretty warm though, 56 outside, lots of sunshine, and pretty low winds coming from the southwest at 3 miles per hour. You can see that there's not a lot going on in the sky from this satellite image. Pretty much all of Kansas, a little bit of clouds over in western Kansas, but other than that, that's about it. Looking into this evening, we're going to drop down to the 40s around 6 and 8, and then down into the 30s later this evening. I'll let you know how much cooler we get later in the show. Back to you, Carly and Danita.
Thanks, Jay. The state of Georgia will do a by-hand recount in this year's presidential race. President-elect Joe Biden leads Georgia with more than 14,000 votes, but today, Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says the race was too close to call.
With the margin being so close, it will require a full by-hand recount in each county. This will help build confidence. It will be an audit, a recount, and a recanvass all at once. It will be a heavy lift, but we will work with the counties to get this done in time for our state certification.
The recount is expected to be done by November 20th, the same day as state's deadline to certify election results.
After the announcement on Saturday that Joe Biden is the new president-elect, many Lawrence residents took to the streets in celebration. People formed an impromptu parade complete with flags, signs, music, and long lines of cars down Mass Street, honking their horns and cheering. The spontaneous parade ran from 6th Street all the way to 11th Street. The streets were filled with non-stop honks and cheers. The celebration lasted well into the night before finally dying down.
Still to come on KUJH News, a look at how the University of Kansas students and alumni are finding ways to honor our veterans in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic this Veterans Day.
An update on the COVID-19 situation on campus with a word from Chancellor Girard. Stay with us.
Welcome back. COVID-19 is spreading the healthcare system thin. A rise in cases and a shortage of staff is proving to be an issue in Shawnee County.
Stormont and Vale Hospital in Topeka had a record-breaking 62 COVID patients yesterday. This is after they set a record of 54 just a day earlier, turning away 9 people who had tested positive.
Stormont's president and CEO, Dr. Robert Kennedy, says they only had 1 intensive care bed available yesterday.
The hospital has also seen a shortage of staff, averaging 50 absences a day. Some are sick themselves and many are in quarantine.
Stormont is now deciding with caution whether or not to take an elective approach.
Jayhawks will soon be leaving campus for break and returning home for the holidays. What does this mean for COVID-19? As of yesterday, KU has a 3.40% of positive coronavirus cases. This number is proving to be lower than it has been throughout the semester. Chancellor Doug Girard sent his weekly update on Tuesday, saying he's proud of how the KU community has handled these challenges, but to continue our efforts.
Everybody's tired. It's been a long semester and dealing with all of this. It's time to double down on our efforts to make sure we can finish out the semester strong and healthy.
As students are preparing to leave for break, tests will be available free of charge if they meet these criteria. If you need one for a job or an airline, or if you'll be returning to a household with someone who is at high risk. Jayhawks, we've done a great job at protecting each other and the community, so let's continue that same energy these next few weeks.
The Chancellor also announced yesterday that KU will not extend fall salary cuts into the spring semester. In June, KU had announced a pay reduction for employees who earn more than $50,000 annually. This was to compensate for the budget deficit due to COVID-19. The salary cut is set to end December 26th for faculty paid by the academic year, or February 20th for those paid by the fiscal year. In his speech, Girard thanked faculty and staff for their hard work and said the paid leave will give them time to reset for the spring semester.
A lot of things have looked different this year, and that includes holidays. Faith Burling has the story.
Today is Veterans Day, and even though the traditional parade had to be canceled due to COVID-19, many are finding ways to still honor those who fought for our country. The military-affiliated Student Center has spent the morning and early afternoon handing out care packages to veterans. These bags include gifts sponsored by T-Mobile and KU.
So this is a great way to show appreciation for our veterans at KU, and it's also a great way to bring people into the center, which a lot of people, have just been doing online classes this semester. So a lot of people don't know, that all this is here and that we're here to serve students who are also in person on campus, and for them to see our services that we have here.
This wasn't the only event held. The University of Kansas Naval, Army, and Air Force ROTC units honored those who have served with a 24-hour vigil. Jacob Allen, Baton Commanding Officer for the Kansas Naval ROTC unit, says that this was an important event for him.
There are men and women that, they don't get to be home for holidays and they don't get to see their families, or maybe they're deployed when their kids are born. And that's really hard, and they've made those sacrifices. So me giving up that time and being able to stand watches is, again, the least I can do. And it gives me an opportunity to teach our younger freshmen and sophomore midshipmen and cadets how to stand that watch and how they can carry on that tradition in future years after my class and I have gone on to serve.
For KUJH, Faith Burling.
Thanks, Faith. KU's Veterans Alumni Network will still be hosting its 75th annual 5K, but this year it will be virtual. Participants must have their post in by November 30th. Now let's over to Connor Keaton, who's got entertainment.
Hello and welcome to KUJH Entertainment. I'm Connor Keaton. And first up, Sony and Microsoft are announcing and releasing their next generation of video game consoles. The PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X were announced in the summer, but now they're hitting store shelves. And whether you prefer either Xbox or PlayStation, both consoles are seriously powerful, sporting increased storage space, upgraded visual fidelity, and faster loading times. This marks a new era for the video game industry. But because of the pandemic surrounding these consoles, supplies are going to be limited. So the big question on everybody's minds is, are you going to get them in time for the holiday season? And for Veterans Day, Google honors the brave men and women who served in the country with a custom Google Doodle. The company is famous for creating these Google Doodles doodles for holidays and special occasions. The doodle was created from actual military uniforms and features colors worn by each member of the United States military. It was created using rolled up scraps and deconstructed uniforms. Its creator, a veteran herself, says she is honored to have been trusted with this task. And a candid moment from Kanye West. Out in Wyoming, a journalist at Bighorn Radio struck up a conversation with the former presidential candidate. Mac Morey was out covering a separate assignment, but saw his chance to speak with the musician, and he took it.
I mean, just making good conversation and talking, and that got me to talk to Kanye, because that was not my story, that wasn't my scoop, wasn't my contact, but through good conversation and just basically down to earth conversation. We were talking about sports, we were talking about politics, didn't even really bring up one, even when I knew they were with Kanye, it was kind of just asking them about them because I was genuinely interested, but also because I knew to gain a foot into that world, I needed to do that.
He managed to snag some quick photos of West, which can be found on Facebook and the radio station's official website. And that does it for entertainment, and now we're gonna shoot it over to Jade with the weather.
Yeah, I always just clap at this part.
This is where everyone's talking amongst themselves. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to do it?
Are we supposed to smile?
When do we start? Somebody over here already started.
Can we talk about the piccolo part's the most complicated one?
It is. If you listen, you're doing it when the band's not playing.
You have to tell me when it starts. I still don't know.
Here we go. Just clapping now.
No humps. Nailed it.
I practiced this morning. Mine was just two people.
It has a right and a wrong way of doing it. No. Wrong.
I like my way better.
I don't know how to
1,
do
2,
the
3,
end.
4.
It's just I don't know the head.
That's great.
It's hard by yourself.
Hi, welcome back. I'm here with your full weather forecast for today. It's beautiful outside, 59 degrees with a strong wind from the, that is for tomorrow. Today it is not that warm, but it will be tomorrow. Get excited for that. Looking at tonight, it is going to get into the 40s later this evening and then drop down to the 30s later tonight. Our ultimate low will be 33 degrees, partly cloudy with some light winds from the east-southeast. Tomorrow, again, I already spoiled it, but it is going to be mostly sunny, 59 degrees with those winds from the southwest. So the reason why the sky is so clear today is because we are under a high pressure system. If we zoom out a little bit and look at the surface map, we can see that cold front that came through yesterday, giving us that rain that is now hitting the east coast now. And if we fast forward a little bit to Friday, we can see a second cold front moving through, and that is going to bring us some much needed rain and a little bit of cooler temperatures for Saturday morning. Another hurricane update for you. We are zooming out a little bit more to the Atlantic Ocean right now. The first thing we're going to look at is Tropical Storm Theta. Now, Theta is breaking records because we've never had this many tropical storms and hurricanes ever. So we've never needed to name a hurricane Theta before. One more thing we're going to look at is this wave right here. It is not a tropical storm yet, but it is going to hit Guatemala and Venezuela, which unfortunately were already hit by Eta and are still recovering from that damage. Speaking of Eta, it is still right there hitting Florida today. Today it has made landfall once again. The second time has made landfall in Florida, and we will keep you updated with the damage on that. Luckily, we don't have any storms here this weekend though. Saturday we're going to get up to the 60s, 67 on Saturday, Saturday and then a beautiful day again on Sunday with a high of 63. Looking at your full extended forecast, it's a beautiful week ahead of us despite that rain Friday evening. As that cold front moves in, you can see the temperatures go down with that chance of rain, and then nothing but sunshine for the week ahead. That's all we have for you for weather for today. Now we're going to Courtney for a look at the sports.
Thanks, Jade. And coming up on KUJH Sports, a look into National Signing Day, and the wait for KU basketball is almost over. Stay with us.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. I'm Courtney McMaster. It is National Signing Day for high school seniors. The celebrated event is traditionally the first day that student athletes can sign a binding national letter of intent for a collegiate sport. Recruits across the nation have been announcing their commitment via social media all throughout today. KU Volleyball has announced 4 signees earlier this afternoon. Cameron Turner, Bryn McGee, Caroline Vine, and London Davis will all join Kansas next fall. KU men's and women's track and field team also announced 23 newcomers for this upcoming season. The men's team will be adding 12 new Jayhawks to the roster, while the women's team will be gaining 11 new members. Congratulations to all signees today on taking the next step into their future. For all you basketball fans, the 2020 NBA draft is just around the corner. The long-awaited event is scheduled for November 18th, originally scheduled to be held at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, but will now be conducted via video conference at ESPN's facility in Bristol, Connecticut. In the NBA Draft.net mock draft that took place last week, former Kansas point guard Devon Dotson was selected 35th overall, while center Udoka Azubuike wasn't far behind as the 40th pick. Both Dotson and Azubuike have been training all offseason and put up positive numbers for the NBA Combine. Dotson has been projected anywhere from a late first-round pick to the middle of the second round. Azubuike, on the other hand, has been projected as a second-round selection. And luckily for you KU fans who have suffered throughout football season, don't you worry, it's about to be the most wonderful time of year here in Lawrence. The Kansas men's basketball team opens their season on Thanksgiving Day against Gonzaga in Fort Myers, Florida. Earlier this week, the Jayhawks finalized their 2020-21 schedule, adding a home game against Washburn on December 3rd. The Hawks are currently ranked in number 6 in ESPN's preseason poll. However, it won't be a smooth sailing for KU in Big 12 play this year. Baylor, Texas Tech, West Virginia, and Texas are all ranked in the top 25 as well. And to follow up on the Masters update from yesterday, Jon Rahm pulled off what some are saying is the best golf shot that the sport has ever seen. Rahm skipped his ball across the pond at hole 16 for an insane hole-in-one at Augusta National, a truly epic moment in golf. And that's all for sports today. But coming up after the break, we will take a look at the new mural in Lawrence that honors indigent people. Stay with us.
Welcome to Take a Side, the sports talk show that lets you, the viewer, choose our winners. Who is the biggest threat to win the NFC West?
I think hands down the Arizona Cardinals are the biggest threat in the NFC West right now.
That the Bucks will be better off in a few years with a young quarterback with all the weapons that they have now.
Who is going to be the lead man for the Jayhawks this season?
I'm going to go with Ochai Agbaji.
Should students who are caught hosting large gatherings be expelled from the university?
I think expulsion is absolutely 100% ridiculous.
And that's why I think Joe Biden will not handily, but closely win this presidential election.
For more Take a Side content, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TakeASideKU. And for all of us here at Take a Side, I'm Jacob Polachek. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome back. A new mural in Lawrence is finished and ready for locals to come by and see. A 12-foot by 52-foot painting can be found on an underpass wall on 31st Street. The mural is celebrating Indigenous people and the history that the area holds. Lawrence Van Gogh art director Rick White and a few of his young students took on this project in hopes to take away hateful graffiti while creating a positive art amid the pandemic. The mural is a way to show the beauty of the culture that lives in Lawrence, such as Haskell Indian Nations University. If you want to visit the mural again, the piece can be found beneath the underpass on 31st Street by the Wetlands Trail.
It's so nice to see things like that are just good during this challenging time.
Definitely.
A typical election day tradition for most people is to take a good selfie with their I voted sticker. However, for many, it is a tradition to place their sticker on a gravestone. Susan B. Anthony was a suffragette who fought for women's right to vote. Every year, many place their I voted sticker on her headstone as a way to honor her. This year, a plastic covering was placed on the grave to let the tradition continue while protecting the stone from wear and tear. The grave was also cleaned by a historical restoration company beforehand to ensure its longevity. 2020 marks 100 years since the ratification of the 19th Amendment granting women the right to vote, making it an especially touching tradition this year. I know for me it's definitely touching that it's a centennial of women's right to vote.
I definitely agree. That's KUJH News for November 11th.
To view our stories again or to share them with your friends, visit our website at tv.ku.edu.
And check us out next Wednesday at 4 p.m. for the latest news, weather, and sports.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.